Your to-do list, top 3, what are they for South Sudan?
Yeah, so I think for me, definitely increasing penetration. I mentioned that today it's got one of the lowest mobile penetration. So mobile penetration is actually sitting at 32% out of the full population. Internet penetration is sitting at 12%. So, this is relative to countries like South Africa where it's 80%, 90%. So the first thing is making sure that I, increase access to our service. Because when I saw the penetration numbers, I realized that there's a huge segment of the population, in fact the majority, that still don't have connection. Like, wow, So that for me is the number one. I would like to work as hard as possible to make sure that people have access to our services. What does that mean? It means making sure that core connectivity is in place. That could be partnering with other organizations to increase infrastructure, because one of the reasons connectivity is so low is because of the lack of infrastructure. But, we've seen how, for example, in Rwanda, organizations such as the energy sector as well as the telco sector partnering together can actually help to propel the scaling of infrastructure. So I'm looking forward to that, really increasing access to connectivity and therefore increasing access to services. That's number one. I think number two, definitely, I think looking at some of the success we've seen in Rwanda in terms of driving acceleration of smartphones, my number two priority is to make sure that we really focus on increasing and doubling up on, access to smartphones. Because I think because of the countries coming off the low base, there's a lot of, room to catch up on in terms of, having people that are digitized. And I think what that will do is that even despite maybe the lack of physical infrastructure, it will enable people to have access to, the global ecosystem, in various ways. We've seen how our kids are exposed to, what's happening globally. And I think that can really help to also propel the country forward. So that's number two. I think number three for me is really about really helping to contribute to the growth of the country, because I'm very conscious of the role that the ICT sector in MTN, being the lead mobile operator in South Sudan, has in terms of its contribution to the growth of the country and the development of the country. And for me, I'm very keen to, spend time with the stakeholders in South Sudan, hear what their ambitions are for the country, hear what their challenges are, and then see how, with the industry that I'll be, part of, in the company that I'll be leading, contribute to, really steering the country forward. It's what we call, nation states agenda. Whatever that nation state agenda is in South Sudan, it's really about how can MTN plug into that and really help to be part of, solving the, national priorities.
Yeah.